Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Spotlight. I am Sakshi Sharma and today we have with us Ishita Khanna, a well-known digital creator who has made her mark in the world of lifestyle and fashion. So welcome to Spotlight, Ishita.
Thank you so much for having me. Honestly, super excited to be here and share a bit about my journey.
So let's begin with this. अपनी journey के बारे में बताइए कि कैसे you were a UPSC aspirant if I'm not wrong, and then you just dived into this content creation journey. How did it work out for you?
So I wanted to be an IAS officer. It was like a childhood dream for me. How growing up we want to be doctor, engineer, pilot, etc. I wanted to be like an IAS officer. So I started my preparation like right after my undergrad. Spent 2.5 years for my preparation, and every time I failed in the exam, I wanted to do like better and like go back, study harder, and I was like, I'm going to crack it the next time. Until I realized that it's become a vicious cycle. You know, every time I go back, study harder and not see the results, I just felt like I was wasting a lot of my time where I could be doing a lot more. Like there were so many opportunities that I was just letting go of or not even tapping into just because I wanted to sit and clear this exam. I think, and I was also not financially independent at that time, and that was an ick that I really wanted to be that. So I started freelancing a lot. I picked up a lot of content writing, social media related jobs, and even back in school, I was always like inclined towards creativity. I was part of the digital team back in school, so a lot of these IT competitions would happen, poster making, website designing, and video editing and things like that. So I loved that anyway. One of these content creation gigs that I did freelancing ad wanted me to create YouTube videos for them. So that was how I realized that, okay, I love this process. This is coming so naturally to me, and I absolutely loved every bit of it. So I knew that I had to start my own channel, and like I think that was just a sign. It gave me that push to just like go ahead and do it. So that's how pretty much I started my channel.
Adventurous journey.
Yeah, it's been a lot of like ups and downs and just like being confident, not even confident, just like having trust within yourself that, you know, you might be able to make it one day. So just like taking that leap of faith.
Right. Yeah. And what kind of content do you create? मतलब मैंने आपके reels देखी थी. Sometimes I see funny reels. Sometimes I see, you know, you're turning a plain outfit into a head turner. So what kind of topics do you touch upon?
So I started off with pretty much styling related videos, fashion and styling. But then I realized that after a point, you also have to evolve as a creator. And also it gets monotonous, right? Like आप एक outfit को कितने अलग तरीके से पहन सकते हो. So I wanted to sort of explore into more relatable content. And also I am at a stage in my life where I feel like I know a lot of people will relate to me, like being single at 30 or just dating life. So I started making like random reels about that. And that sort of hit a chord with a lot of people. A lot of my reels that have gone viral are actually those relatable reels that have done well. So I feel like I've tried to sort of go into content that's more relatable and not just fashion and styling. So to answer your question, I feel like I do a lot of styling and lifestyle content. I would like to categorize it that way.
Okay. And जैसे आप content creator हैं, एक typical day आपकी जिंदगी में कैसा रहता है?
हाँ. यार एक टिपिकल डे होता ही नहीं है मेरी लाइफ में. इट्स लाइक दैट. आई रियली होप लाइक मेरे फ्रेंड्स काफी जो कॉर्पोरेट जॉब्स करती हैं, दे नो कि उन्हें सुबह उठ के ऑफिस जाना है, देन दे विल कम बैक, सो दे हैव अ शेड्यूल. बट मेरी लाइफ में ऐसा कोई शेड्यूल है नहीं. लाइक अ टिपिकल डे, इफ आई हैव टू से, वुड इंक्लूड a lot of meetings with brands, agencies, editing, lots of editing. I edit my own videos, so I love editing. Ideating, brainstorming was a constant hamesha. Even if I'm like just sitting here, I'm probably thinking of some content. So that's always happening. Then I do have a little team that I'm trying to grow bigger. So meetings with the team, ideating again, discussing the content calendar, the content schedule, so little things like these. But yeah, I mean, I wish I could give you a typical day, and I'm not complaining. I like how it is. But I wish it was more routine-like, but it's not how it is as a content creator for me, at least. So it's every day is different.
Doesn't it get hectic for you? You're editing your own videos.
It does. But I have this habit कि मुझे ना जैसे content like how exactly I want it to be, I want it like that. So I do have editors who when I don't have the time to edit, they do it for me. But I'm very particular about how I want things to be. So I like editing and I enjoy it. So I've sort of made it a part of my work routine, so it's not hectic.
Okay. And what do you think, like, how financially sustainable is this content creation?
Honestly, I mean, I am a full-time creator and I'm sustaining myself completely on content creation and as a creator. So it is 100% at this age and time a sustainable career. But having said that, I think there are two things you need to keep in mind. One is that you reach this stage after a lot of time and months and maybe even years. So you have to be consistent, resilient, you have to keep at it, and then only I think you will be able to reach that stage where you can make a sustainable living out of it. And secondly, it's a very transient industry. Like lots of things are changing every now and then. It's a profession, it's unpredictable, right? Like you may have a lot of brands wanting to work with you today, but tomorrow they might not be there. So I always say that multiple sources of revenue everyone should have, even if not a creator, but I feel like that's something that everyone should keep in mind. And I would still recommend that. So even though that it is sustainable in terms of finances, you need to still have multiple other sources of income for yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, just like you mentioned कि ये प्रोफेशन बहुत अनप्रिडिक्टेबल है. सो व्हाट आर योर व्यूज ऑन पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग? बिकॉज मैंने काफी क्रिएटर्स से जैसे बात करी है तो उनको ये लगता है एज ऑफ नाउ ये पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग होना एक मोनेटाइज करने के लिए बेस्ट ऑप्शन है फॉर क्रिएटर्स. सो आर यू ऑल्सो प्लानिंग समथिंग लाइक दैट?
Personally, I am. I don't want to talk. I mean, it's still in a very nascent stage, so I don't wanna talk too much until I can bring it to you, like bring it in front of all my audiences. But having said that, it's definitely an alternate source of income, and when you have such a big audience that the community that you build that's loyal to you, I think you should leverage that and create a product or anything for that matter that they would like.
Right.
I feel like it's not like every creator has to create a brand. It could be, I mean, they don't have to. It's just if something strikes with you, then you go ahead and do that, because there are other ways to sort of monetize your work, right? There are workshops, there are courses that you can do. You can share knowledge instead of like a product. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a brand per se.
Okay. And what strategies have you employed to ensure successful and mutually beneficial collaborations with diverse brands in lifestyle and fashion. Sector?
So most of the brands that I work with are in fashion or beauty or lifestyle, and I don't have like one strategy that I use for all my content, but few things that I always keep in mind, and I share it with the brands that I work with as well, that it's important to know my audience. So I need to be aware about the kind of audience that I have, follow correct, what's the age group, what's the gender ratio, which cities are they from. So I keep that in mind, so that when a brand comes to me, if say they want to target say tier 3 cities and they want to target college going girls, I need to be aware that I have that kind of audience that I can give them that ROI, right? So that's one thing that I keep in mind. Another is that I like to be involved in the concept creation or the idea of how something should be executed. A lot of times brands don't allow that, but I think that is one thing that I'm always stuck on, that it's my platform, so you need to trust me enough to know that how well I can execute your idea. So that's one thing, being part of the ideation, and just building long-term associations with brands has also been a great way to build that trust between the brand, me, and my audience, so that they know that if I'm working with this brand for a long time, instead of just like promoting it once and then never again, that is obviously not very authentic. So I try to build longer-term associations as well.
Right. And जैसे कि अभी आपने मेंशन किया, काफी क्रिएटर्स को इंक्लूडिंग यू, जस्ट लाइक यू मेंशन, क्रिएटिव कंट्रोल होना उनको लगता है जरूरी है व्हेन अ ब्रांड इज कमिंग टू यू विद अ स्क्रिप्ट. और काफी बारी वो रिजिड होते हैं कि यही करना है. दे डोंट रियली रियलाइज दैट क्रिएटर का अपना क्रिएटिविटी है, उसका अपना नीश है.
Correct.
तो वो उस ऑडियंस के अकॉर्डिंग अपना कंटेंट बनाएगी. सो एक्चुअली ये कितना चैलेंजिंग है आपके लिए ऐसे ब्रांड्स के साथ काम करना? हाउ ऑफन डू यू फेस इट?
I agree 100%. At least I'm of the opinion कि 100% creative control creator के पास होना चाहिए. I mean, if not 100, at least 95-90% तो होना चाहिए, because ultimately जो brands हैं वो मेरे platform, मेरे audience को leverage कर रहे हैं अपने product को promote करने के लिए. So I think they should trust the creator enough and trust me enough कि मुझे पता होगा सबसे अच्छा तरीका उसको promote करने का या integrate करने का. a lot of times the mandates from brands take away the authenticness, जो authenticity होती है किसी चीज को. ऐसा कई बार हुआ है कि मुझे brands ने product भेजा है और 3 दिन या 4 दिन में वीडियो बनाने के लिए बोला. How can I make that video if I haven't tried and tested the product?
I get to hear this a lot from creators.
I'm sure it's a universal problem within the creators, but I think it really depends कि मतलब recent time में मैंने 2 campaigns हैं with some really good brands that I would have loved to work with that I had to drop because and they were like locked campaigns, but they had to be cancelled because the brand wasn't agreeing to the concept that I wanted to work on. They were hell bent on what they wanted, and I knew कि अगर मैं वो डालूंगी वीडियो पे engagement नहीं आएगा, there's no point in just doing an ad, right? Like it makes no sense. So I think it's a part and parcel of this industry, and I hope that changes. I will be the flag bearer of this, and I really hope that we can have a dialogue. I feel like brands need to have more dialogue with the creators, and maybe have constant meetings or round tables or conferences where you can actually speak to the creators and understand what works and what doesn't work. Yeah.
So जब आपके पास कोई brand approach करता है, don't you guys have meetings then?
So we do have meetings, but they are more, again, some brands want us to be involved. So when that happens,
not all brands,
exactly. But what I mean by saying like conferences is that general जो creator economy है उसको better understand करने के लिए I think there needs to be more avenues for the brand or the agencies to interact with the creators. But just to answer your questions, meetings होती हैं, but not all brands. Like some brands will be very strict. They'll send you the mandates, and also agencies बहुत होती हैं बीच में. So there might be times when the brand is not directly even in touch with me. It's their agency. Sometimes बहुत ऐसी layers हो जाती हैं बीच में that takes away the authenticity.
Right.
So you have to pick your battles. I feel like when deciding who to work with. And
also ऐसा है क्या कि ज़्यादातर ये बड़े ब्रांड्स हैं जो बहुत रिजिड रहते हैं, या छोटे ब्रांड्स तुम लोग को स्क्रिप्ट के लिए मीटिंग्स के लिए अप्रोच करते हैं अच्छे से, और am I just generalizing, मतलब कैसा रहता है?
I think you heard it from other creators. That's why you're able to. I think मेरे experience में भी जो बड़ी brands हैं उनके साथ ज़्यादा होता है that they're very rigid on what they want. I mean मैं creator के perspective से बोल रही हूँ, but I'm sure brands have their own reasons, but वो मुझे समझ में नहीं आता because ultimately creators जो influencer marketing space है, it's a very personalized way of reaching out to a consumer. So you should let that influencer or a creator do it in a personalized way, and not just make it like an ad. नहीं तो फिर आप celebrities या किसी के और साथ ही rather do television ads or like hoardings than doing this.
Right. Also, I believe managing a creative career is very challenging. तो apart from doing all these brand collaborations और brands के साथ challenges face करना वो एक अलग बात है, but general आपकी journey में आपने क्या challenges आप majorly face करे हैं और अभी भी आप कर रहे हैं?
I think the major challenge that I have experienced is कि इस career में बहुत highs and lows होते हैं. And at one point you can't really differentiate between your personal life and your professional life because like I said, corporate jobs में आपको पता है आप office जा रहे हो, आपका एक office life है, एक personal life है. But as a creator, because you're always working or you're working from home, so you're not able to differentiate between when you need to stop working and when you need to pause on that. So if you have something going on in your personal life and because you're in front of the camera, you're creating content, it sometimes reflects on camera that you're not really putting in your best. On the other hand, it could also, it has also happened when I'm not feeling my best, but I have to put in my 100% in front of the camera for creating the content. I think that's a major challenge that I face that I still try to like work around with. I'm getting used to it and I'm learning as I grow. But I think that's one. And also just like when you create content, right, something might perform really well. You have peaks and you have lows. Like I have, especially with my YouTube channel, that happens a lot. It's very seasonal. Like couple of months in the year, I'll have really good views, really good engagement, and then some of the months none of my videos will do well. And just that high and low is kind of bothering sometimes. It's not a constant growth.
Not every reel or not every content hits.
Exactly, right? In fact, just before coming, I was watching a reel from NAS Summit. And the creator was talking about how when he started, his first reel got 20 views, then 200, and then 2,000. And then finally, after like 100 videos, his reel reached like 1 million views. and then after that, like the next 20 videos did not even cross 1,000 views. So it's a very relatable thing for a creator, and I was like, dude, I can relate to this. Every creator won't.
People also get frustrated, and a lot of people
Yeah.
just think कि मेरे लिए काम नहीं कर रहा है.
Exactly, and they
रहने
leave
देते हैं.
it. But actually, the key is to just be consistent. And
Right.
अगर आप वो consistency maintain कर सकते हो, I think you will do pretty well.
Right. Also, I just need your views on this. आपको क्या लगता है माइक्रो इन्फ्लुएंसर्स का कंज्यूमर जर्नी पे क्या इम्पैक्ट रहता है, क्या रोल है उनका एज कम्पेयर टू द बिग क्रिएटर्स?
I mean, when I was a micro influencer, the ROI is much higher. You have an audience which is highly engaged, आपके साथ constantly engaged रहती है as a community. As you grow, आपका जो content है उसकी reach बढ़ जाती है, right?
Okay.
So your audience then becomes very wide. Like you may, like I may have started off with, say, college going girls being part of my audience, only college going girls, but now I also have women who are above the age of 30 or 35. I also have a certain amount of male audience, so it grows. So I feel like from the brand's perspective, if you're asking in terms of like influencer marketing, micro influencers are more niched down, and they would probably give you a higher return on investment, because I have also experienced that my engagement rate was much higher when I was at say like a 30K or a 40K thousand on Instagram. But I'm talking about Instagram. YouTube is very different though. Right. So yeah, on Instagram, the smaller I feel like the creator is, the higher reach and engagement that person can get you.
Okay.
But on YouTube, it's a different ball game altogether. I feel like YouTube, it's your consistency and how much you show up and what's the community you built there makes all the difference rather than the numbers.
Okay. And also, what makes your content stand out? वो ऐसी क्या एक चीज़ है जो आपको बाकी क्रिएटर्स से अलग बनाती है, आपको आपके कंटेंट को?
यार honestly, I feel like इसका आंसर मेरे ऑडियंस या फॉलोअर्स ही दे सकते हैं, from what they comment or what I hear from them. They often say that the content that I create really resonates with them. It's very authentic.
Okay.
It's true to how I am, but I would like to believe the same, that I try to create content that's like, अगर मैंने कुछ पहना है आज, मैं वही promote करूँगी. Like I won't promote something that I won't even wear myself.
Right.
I try to create content that reaches the masses, that's affordable. Something that you like. I do a lot of content around budget buys and budget recommendations.
I know, I have seen that.
So I try to do that. And those are things I would also personally use. So I try to like stay authentic as much as I can.
I think that worked out well.
And I think that reflects in the content and the love that I get from my subscribers.
Okay. And now we'll quickly move to a fun rapid fire round.
Okay.
Are you ready for it? You need to answer quickly.
Okay, I'll try.
Okay. So, your top 3 favorite fashion trends at the moment?
I'm not someone who follows trends, but I'll tell you 3 things that I'm actually loving right now. Parachute pants. You'll find them everywhere these days. I love monochrome outfits. And I love one more. What else? Wide leg jeans. In fact, I'm wearing one right now. I just find them super comfortable.
All right. And if you could collaborate with any brand in the world, which would it be?
I would love to work with Gucci.
Okay. Yeah. And your all-time favorite coat?
They keep changing as and when I see them, but the last one that I saw and it stuck with me was inspiration is fleeting. You should act upon it immediately.
This is the current quote that you are inspired by.
Yes, it was a book that I was reading. It's Almanac, the Almanac of Naval Ravikant, and I just read it and it just struck to me as a creator. Like you constantly get ideas, right? And if you don't act upon it, and it's happened, like फिर एक हफ्ते बाद तो फिर I feel like रहने दो, मतलब वो idea रहने दो.
All right. And what's that one thing your followers would be, surprised to learn about you?
I think, I'm not sure if I've shared this on the internet anywhere, but I used to be a sitar player and a Bharatanatyam dancer back in school. I can't do it anymore. I think I'm way out of practice, but that is something that I know if I go back to, I will be good at it. Because it was also my extra subject. So I think sitar and Bharatanatyam, I think they might not know that I can do that.
Okay. And who's that one creator you would love to work with in fashion and lifestyle space?
Work with? I can't name one now. Honestly, like I watch a lot of creators.
You have to name one.
I honestly can't name one.
Maybe a creator you admire in this space.
So the thing is, I follow a lot of American and international based creators because I love how they edit. Like I can't remember her name. I think her name is Kella. Kella Dactyle. So she does a lot of green screen videos where her edits are really cool and fun. I don't know if you've come across her. I may be pronouncing her name wrong, but I think I would love to work with her.
Okay. And lastly, share one word that best describes you as a creator.
As a creator, I think relatable.
Okay, right. As I got to know while I was talking to you that you make a lot of authentic and relatable content.
Yeah, so
it was lovely having you on the show. And thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, and I would love to be back super soon.
Yes, Piyush.